Do you need to generate QR codes from data in Google Sheets? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to generate QR codes from different kinds of data, for example, SKU, UPCs, or websites, and show you the services you can use. So I have a list of a couple services here that are all working. If you have some other ones that you find, let me know and I can add them here as well. So let's go ahead and look at what this looks like. So very basic, what we're going to use is the image function. And then in double quotes, we're going to put that URL. And so I have that URL right here or here. And then what we're doing is we're concatenating a reference to that cell. And by concatenate, I mean using this ampersand symbol. And so if you look at this real quick here, we have, here's that URL, double quotes surrounding it, and then ampersand and a link to that cell right there in C6. And so if we go over here, then we change it to E6 for that UPC, or here we change it to G6 for that website. And so each one of these is a demo of the base one from each of these services. So we have Quick Chart, we have this QR server, and we have this dub.co. And then to wrap up this video, let's look at how we can add options to these. And so I have a link to the docs. And so let's just start with Quick Chart. And you can see these parameters are what we're looking for. So the parameters are ways to modify. And so if we look at these, you can see these look a little different. These have a little more white space around them. This one has none. And this one has maybe a little bit in between. So how do we adjust that? So on this Quick Chart, we're going to see margin here. And it tells you the default real quick here. And then if we go in here, the way we're going to add that as a parameter is everything after the question mark here is what's called a parameter. So the parameter is the name of the parameter equals and then the value. And so the way we're adding the value here is like this. So if we look here, here's what the full URL looks like when we're done. So there's that parameter name equals and the parameter value. So the way we add more than one is we can do margin equals, let's say 4. And then what you do is ampersand in between each parameter. So parameter name equals parameter value, ampersand, and then you can do this. And so now if we refresh, you can see that's the same. So let's go ahead and adjust this to 0. And there you go. Now you can see it's the same size as this one. So we could adjust the margin if we want, make it a little bit less than it was before, something like that. And then that looks perfect. So let's look at another parameter we could use. And so on this one, as we look down through, you have different options. So one thing we could do is do a caption. So let's look at this one. Let's go back to 4. And then after margin, let's do caption equals, and then we're going to need another ampersand after that. But let's do double quotes because we want to use the SKU as the text. So what I'm doing here is here's the first part of that URL. I'm going to break out of it with 2 ampersands and grab that cell. And then I'm going to go back into it to finish up. So if we look at this whole thing now, you can see we have, and let's do this. So you can just see it there. So there is that whole URL. So margin equals 4 and the caption equals goog-1 and text equals goog-1. And so now if we copy this and put this in here, now we have that caption. So we can drag that down and now make this a little more human readable. And you can still adjust that margin if you like, maybe go to margin 3 and you can play around with it to see what you want there. All right, and so let's look at how to modify this dub one. So let's go over here and then you can see the parameters here as well. So if we go here, we can see margin. So it says margin defaults to 2. So let's just check this out, see if it works. Equals 4 and URL. As you can see, that just got a little bit smaller. All right, so that's it for today's video. Make sure to check out the other videos on our channel for more tutorials on both Google Sheets and AppScript. And as always, have a great day.